Absa, going the extra mile to
use. And after the first day, most teams were worried that their cars would outlast the terrain. The route was tough with two smaller loops of 120 k's and then a similar drive with a longer 40 k sting in the tail, tailor-made to brake cars and morale. Not to mention the dust that was already causing visibility and mechanical trouble for drivers, navigators and team bosses. In the meantime, Nissan's Duncan Foss knew that starting at the front would leave him dust-free and relatively free of troubles.
Look, it's good to start in the front. We're not going to have a dust problem. Just got to keep it together, but just try and first hour not make too many mistakes, not make any mistakes, have a nice pace, get a good rhythm going, and hopefully try and keep the rest behind us.
Absa's Benny Groenewald was getting a few pointers from the championship leaders, but for Kutsela Beskagni, there were some hasty drawn-up plans after a tragedy.
Well, unfortunately, my navigator Johan Gabbe had a tragedy. His house, accident, a fire, his house burned down virtually, and I can't expect of him not to be with his family and sort that things out there. Yes, but we are going to drive solo. I mean, many guys has done it in space frame cars, so I see no reason why we can't do it. Other routes assured me that the course is very well marked, the cautions are very well marked, so I don't foresee any problems, but I'll just be going for a finish, and a lot of my fellow competitors has promised me that they will stop and actually assist me with when I get a flat wheel. So the sportsmanship is great, so we'll see where we come.
For Shamir Variawa, the rougher and tougher the better, and he did win the prologue after all.
It's rough, it's nice. I think it's ideally suited for the special vehicles. And yeah, I love the rough races, so hopefully we do well.
The first flag of the day dropped for Foss and Pitchford in the Nissan Navara, and the 2007 Sun City 400 was truly on the way with an impatient Grobler right on his tailgate. And Foss and Pitchford did not let the grass go under their wheels. They were off and running at the head of the field. The pair were off to a flyer, and well, they should have been with a menacing Grobler right behind them. The Nissan team were hoping for their 40th win in 51 events over the last 6 odd years, and Grobler was desperate to provide it. However, Sun City has not been a happy hunting ground for him of late. He took 5th here last year, and by the way Variawa was catching, it seemed that he was either taking it easy or Grobler was slowing. And the Total Motorsport driver was putting an immense amount of pressure on the 51-year-old. But he couldn't get past either. The Atlas Copco of the Harpers was rolling along smoothly. They were catching up to Variawa at a rate of knots. Their win in the Gluglue event proved that their move to the powerful and slick Atlas Copco backed outfit suited their racing style. But their teammates Gary Bertolt and Henry Costain were not going to let them have it all their own way. They had also closed the gap. The Barloworld Absolute Ford of Schroeder and Huxtable was next into view, and as they always do, the Ranger Dio was smooth and cautious without being slow. The Silwalts and their Silwalt Transport Zarko next charged past, up one position, with the roughness of the route a big boost for the space frame vehicles. The defending SP class champions Woolridge and Schulthammer were cracking it up too and were hoping for a start to the season after posting 2 DNFs. They were also moving up rapidly. Musaji and Bodhanya were still holding station in the top 10, with Herman Silwalt and Mornay Miller in the second car right on their exhaust pipe. The big Rapsa bat of Nandus Alberts and Colin Hunter was 7th in class after the prologue and were racing hard for the top 10. With the father and son Rob and Gareth Walk in the Super Pave Special speeding along, but only to fall victim to a broken left front upright, which put paid to their challenge. But there wasn't a lot of breathing space. Rear-view mirrors had cars in them as far as the eye could see. The third Atlas Copco bat was being piloted by Archie Rutherford and his co Craig Doubtfire, and they were going well too. But the dust was playing havoc with overtaking and getting into engines and eyes. For Evan Hutchison, the new Motorite bat was a pleasure to drive, but they experienced 1 or 2 teething problems. Tollefson and Quinn were steady as she goes, but admittedly were playing a waiting game. The Regent outfit made a solid debut as Marsh and Groenewald sped by, already 5 places up from 21st overall, but the dust made it look like dusk at times. Their teammates the Cries were next, and they were shooting for a hat-trick of wins in Class B. Grenier and Birkin had fixed a power problem after finding a faulty coil, but started off rather cautiously, a fine tactic on this route. The Adenko lads, the Besaidnoids, were ploughing along looking for a podium in Class B. With Bevan Bertolt and Robin Houghton in the second Castrol Toyota ticking along, but almost ran into a stray special. Bertolt has been working like a Trojan at his fitness, but this time the car overheated and they had also lost the power steering, which made Bev overheat in turn. Eventually there was no other way. They had to stop and try to repair. In Class S, Schilling and Davies were making all the right moves.